Come with me. Come with me to discover the secrets of how thoughts become things, and we will manifest like never before. Come with me, and we'll discover a secret so powerful that will take you far beyond your dreams. Come with me on an unforgettable journey. Come with me. It's already yours. Get ready for this adventure, and I'm thankful for today that you found us, so get ready. The time is now. I'm Zelda Kelly. Welcome to Secrets, Laws of Attraction. Hello, everyone. I'm Zelda Kelly, and I am your host for today's Secrets, Laws of Attraction. And this episode, I would like to talk to you about the heart. Now, I know, go ahead and say it, Zelda, what does the heart have to do with the mind and the conscience and the subconscious and manifestation, laws of attraction? Well, it has a lot to do with it. And that's why I want to take this time and explain and give you some fundamental teaching before we really get into some heavy-duty manifestations. The reason I want to do that is because if you really don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get what you want, what you're wishing for, your heart's desire. In fact, you're going to get the opposite, and then you're going to get frustrated and discouraged, and you're going to circle back and come right back to where you are right now, and that is searching. So, haven't you ever heard of these little sayings like, oh, bless his heart, or some people may say, my heart just isn't in that right now, or my heart is so broken, I don't think I can love again. Or, well, this is a heartfelt sentence I'm going to say to you. You get it. You get the picture. You've heard these things. Well, when you say these things, you're not very far off. Our heart has a memory. That's right. It has a separate memory outside of our brain. Well, it's a scientific fact that this is the truth. You see, back in the 1990s, which I say back like it was a couple of centuries ago, it's not very long ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago, scientists found that the heart has a memory by accident. You see, there was a little girl who had a horrible accident. She had a horrible death, and her parents donated her organs. And it wasn't long after that another little girl had an accident and she needed a heart transplant. So she got the heart of the little girl that had the horrible accident and died a very not so nice death. Well, I say not so nice, but it wasn't. And I'm going to not tell you the details of it, but you'll get the picture here in a minute. So everything was great. The little girl lived, who had the heart transplant, but about a month later, she started having horrible, horrible dreams. And these were dreams of actually being killed, and actually the details were so, well, I'm not going to even go there either, but you can imagine, okay? They were very detailed instances and circumstances about how she passed away. It was so horrific on this poor little thing that her parents took her to a specialist, and the specialist heard and she drew pictures. Now, that's amazing in itself, of what she was dreaming, what she was feeling, and what she knew in her heart, right? What she knew in her heart happened. Well, this specialist, this doctor, approached the parents and said, this is not a dream. This is a memory. And of course, the parents were surprised and shocked and said, how could this be a memory? And he said, this is a memory. What she's having is a memory, and I don't understand it. So through testing and details and through a little research, which didn't take them long, they found that the original little girl who donated the heart died a very violent death at the hands of a man who killed her in a wooded area. Now, that's not very nice, but I guess gotta tell you. And this little girl who received the heart was so accurate in her descriptions, and especially of this man, that this doctor specialist turned over his findings to the police. And do you know, it was not very long after that the police found this killer. And actually, they showed him the drawings. They showed him the description of what he had done. And he was so shocked that he confessed to the murder. So they were able to treat this little girl, and she's actually fine now. And what they did through hypnosis was erase her heart memory of this certain instance. Now there's another instance, and you're going to hear and see that many of these things are, or many of these circumstances are around people who have heart transplants. I mean, after all, we really wouldn't have this information unless this miracle of a heart transplant wasn't a part of life now. It's not unheard of to hear of someone having a heart transplant. So the next story was an older woman who never liked chicken. Isn't that funny? Never liked chicken. And she needed a heart transplant. There was a young man who had an accident on a motorcycle and donated his heart. Before you know it, this woman's family said that she craved chicken. Chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken and combos from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, can you imagine? Said she had never had this chicken before, but she could name this combo, what she wanted, the particular drink, the particular sauces. You get the picture. And they did a little research on this, and funny enough, they found out, interestingly enough, that this young man who passed away on the motorcycle loved Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, you're going to see and start hearing all types of stories like this. And they have come to the conclusion that there are certain neurons in our heart that are separate from the neurons in our brain. And we have that separate memory. That's why sometimes we have such a hard time getting through relationships, mournings. We can't get the mourning the death of a family member or friend. That's why we have so many hardships, and we say, my heart's not in it again. I'm not so sure I can give my heart to love. My heart is broken. That's because our heart has this memory. Now, I needed to tell you that because I want you to understand exactly the other role that the heart plays in our body. You see, the heart obviously sustains us, pumps the blood through, gives us life, but it also helps our mind through manifestation. So, the last time we spoke, we talked about the reticular activating system, or the RAS. And the next step in the RAS, that's that little nuclei, that little bundle of nerves at the back of our neck there, at the base of our skull, that's what we use to set an intention. Now, what is an intention? The intention, well, there's a particular name for that. And that little switch, I'm going to call it, because the name is so, I can't even pronounce it, so we're not even going to go there. Just think of it as that little switch at the back of your skull there. In your mind, it's the switch. It's that switch that when you wake up in the morning and you decide you want something, that you move everything to the side until you get that particular item, circumstances, situation that you want. You become fixated on that particular intention. That's what that switch does, and it's the RAS that feeds our subconscious with that information. Now, we're going to go a little deep and a little fast here, so you may want to listen to this episode a couple or 3 or 8 times, okay? So going forward from we have the reticular activating system to the switch. That is our intention. We set our intention. Now, not only do we set our intention in our minds, but we set our intention in our heart. Think of this. When someone says, wow, look at that person, they really put their heart into it. Well, that's very, very true. You can say, wow, someone set his heart on that, or someone set her heart on that, and they got it. That is very true. There is a verse in the Bible that I'd like to share with you. Many of you've heard of it, many of you know it. It's Proverbs 23:7, and it reads in the King James Version, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." As he thinketh in his heart, as he or she thinketh in their hearts, so is he or she. Now, if we believe we are a certain thing, then our reticular activating system files that in our subconscious because the switch has been activated, and now we believe we are something, and sometimes more often than not, something that we think we are. And normally 90% of the time, it's negative. You see, we have the tendency as human beings to automatically think negative. You know that. I know that. And it is hard, especially in these days and these times that we are in right now. It is extremely hard to think positive. When you have pressure of life on you, it's really, really hard. And if you're thinking positive, people think we're crazy, because if we're going through a hard time, we automatically think people should think negative. Oh my gosh. Well, they're not handling that right, because why can't they face the circumstances? They're so happy. Why can't they face this? Well, I'm here to tell you, I believe that putting a smile on your face is going to help you go through difficult times, situations, and circumstances a lot better than dwelling continuously on the negative. And that is our human nature. You see, we are born with a certain DNA that responds to positive thoughts. That is also a scientific fact. Although science has tried to measure a thought, and well, we cannot. It's one of those miracles of our lives. But having that thought process that filters through our heart and our mind, there's another part in the word that says, keep your hearts and minds open to the high message, right? Have you heard that one? Keep your hearts and minds open to that positive message of Christ. Why do I mention that? Well, because God did create the universe, and He did create the laws of attraction. And for those of you who would like to know, there's like 21 universal laws. We'll go through those one day, but just a few are, as you know, the law of gravity. If you believe in the law of gravity, the laws of attraction and manifestation may not be so hard when you start to think about it. We take the law of gravity for granted. There are the laws of gravity, manifestation, of attraction, of assumption, the laws of reciprocity. We'll talk about that someday. The law of gender, the law of, there's all kinds of things. There's law on top of law on top of law, and they all intertwine. So getting back to this heart, okay? So now it's telling us this laws of attraction, this some people think it's a cult, and it's not. We were born to be positive. We were born to have a certain way of thinking. We were born to be that to our fullest and best potential. So now we're talking about the heart and the correlation of the heart and the mind. You see, because what we put in our heart, we put in our mind, and what we put in our minds, we put in our hearts. So now I want to really talk to you about what happens after we set this intention. Well, the next thing is we have that law of vibration. We get on that path, on that frequency. We focus. We dedicate our mind and our thoughts to that positive way toward that goal that we have set as an intention. You can do that by writing it down or keeping a journal or scripting or positive affirmations, whatever works for you. And we will talk about these things. But basically, you can open up the catalog to the universe and start looking, thinking, moving toward whatever it is that you want. Now, the laws of attraction is not here to just make you rich. Many think that it is, and when that doesn't happen for them, then they get very discouraged and upset, because that's the only thing that they can think of. Because one thing that you must understand, with great wealth, with great abundance, comes great responsibility. The more you have in every circumstances and areas of your life, the more you have, the more responsible you have to become. That's interesting, isn't it? That means we have to take care of ourselves. We have to manifest things that fit His will and that are good for us. And I'm going to stop right here and just say this. Never, 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 ever try to use the law of attraction to manipulate or to cause someone harm, because I'm going to tell you it will come back so fast and so quickly on you. Well, you won't know what hit you except that, because believe me, it will come to bite you, and you do not want that to happen. It's not made. It was not created for that. We were born wealthy in all areas and abundant. And it's very sad to feel that we as a human race have been conditioned. And that's right, we have been conditioned to think negatively. You see, we don't think a thing about it if somebody thinks negative all the time. Sometimes it bothers us, but for the most part, it just seems like it's normal. And the reality of it is that's not what our normal is supposed to be. Our normal is supposed to be happy, abundant, wealthy, healthy. And when we have problems come to us, and we do, and we will, because we are spiritual beings living in these little meat suits that we have as bodies here on earth, we can handle it quickly, get it out of our way, and move on. And I'm going to tell you that if you are walking and vibrating in the right frequency, and when you and God get on the right frequency with the universe, a lot of those problems won't find you, because you'll be really ready for that, and you won't put yourself in positions that you fall away or have problems to begin with, because you're keeping your mind and your heart, right? You're renewing your heart and your mind daily to now start on this walk. So now we have the reticular activating system. We have set our intention. We now have the law of vibration. We now have the law of assumption, because we must assume that we already have it. Pray as though you already have it. We give thanks, we are grateful, and we move on. In Isaiah 41, God tells us, "Come boldly to the throne." The reason he says that is he wants us to stand up and boldly say, this is what is happening. This is what I need. This is what we want. Stop praying for what you don't have. Start thanking for what you do. There's a story in the Bible that I love. It's about King Solomon. And before he was king, he was about 19 years old. Solomon was the son of King David. He stood in front of God, and this is before he was king, and he told God, he said, I want to do the best thing that I can. And God said, what is it, Solomon, that I can give you? What will help you? And he said, I want the ability to be the best king. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but I want the ability to be the best king and the best judge in the land. And God gave that to him. And not only did he give it to him, he was so impressed by that he gave him all the riches in the world. Now, I'm not telling you that that's going to happen for you, but I am going to tell you this. When you keep your heart and your mind in the right place, and you focus on the right areas that you're supposed to be focusing on, which means doing right by others, being of service to others, understanding with great wealth and abundance and health and everything else that comes along with it comes great responsibility. Everything else is going to come to you. because you're going to be vibrating on that frequency that is on the same God frequency. Now, I know you're going to say, but Zelda, come on now. I've been doing this for a long time, and nothing has worked. Well, some people have said that to me. And I asked them how long it's been going on, and they said, oh, well, gosh, at least a couple of weeks. I know that seems like a long time, and I know it feels like you're forcing yourself. But this is now a lifestyle change. This is a way of living. This is a lifestyle change. If you want to manifest and you want to attract those things that you really want, your heart's desire, then you got to stick with it, my friends. And I'm here to attest, you can become a millionaire, you can lose weight. I have a client who is actually wanted blue eyes, and her eyes have changed from brown to blue because she literally spoke that into an existence. And it took her some time, and her husband thought she was crazy, and everybody else did too. But she walked around the house saying, my eyes are blue, my eyes are blue. If she went in somewhere and somebody said, what color are your eyes? If she's filling out an application or a driver's license or something, she would say, my eyes are blue. And there would be a little argument, and she'd say, well, all right, well, they might be brown right now, but they are blue. And it was not too long as she had blue eyes. There have been clients of mine who have lost weight, did not change their eating habits intentionally, but when they set that intention to become healthy and to lose weight, their desires and their appetites changed, and it was an automatic that the weight just fell off. There are many people who have used this to improve with their bodies and their hearts and their minds. So now we are reticular activating system. We are setting our intention. Now we are on the right vibration. We have the law of assumption. And now we are attracting, the law of attracting. And when you start putting your heart and your mind in these certain frequencies that get you where you are going, you're going to start seeing little things like road signs in your mind. Things that you want, you're going to start recognizing things that correlate with that. You're going to start hearing songs. You're going to start seeing things that are written. You're going to start recognizing, and when you do that, you know you're attracting. But there's one more step, and that is the law of manifestation. And that comes from the heart and the mind. You're putting your heart and your mind into this. And this heart now is playing a big role because that is where you really feel it deep down inside. Remember, for as he thinketh in his heart. So if you believe you are a certain way, you're going to get it. Like I said in the last episode, watch what you wish for because you're going to get it. Albert Einstein said this, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but he said this one particular thing, and that is, when you are on that frequency of your goal and your heart and mind are going in that direction, it is not philosophy, it is physics. You will get what you wish for because it is physics. You are in harmony with that frequency. So this is the fundamentals that you need to know. Now this is the one last thing, and then I'm going to let you go so you can listen to this again and maybe again until it ingrains in your mind. I don't know how many times people come to me and they say, well, you know what? I had this dream. And because I had this dream, I just know it's going to come true. Well, I got to tell you, a lot of times when we have these dreams, maybe it's just because you ate a little sour pickle before you went to bed. Because since when do you have predictive abilities in your dreams that they come true constantly? Or are you picking and choosing from your subconscious? When we go to bed at night, if we don't set that intention before we go to bed at night, or we don't start writing things down, or we don't start focusing on that, we're feeding our subconscious. If you go to bed and you're worrying or you're thinking about a certain situation, I just know he's going to break up with me. Well, I sure know that she's going to file for a divorce. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to go to bed and you're going to be dreaming about that, and then you're going to think it's going to come true. It will come true if you keep focusing on it. But because of this, the first part of this equation is your thoughts are not facts. Now, I'm going to tell you that again. Your thoughts are not the facts. They are just thoughts. And sometimes they have run away like a runaway roller coaster train, because you start thinking, and dwelling on a certain situation. And instead of running to your phone to talk about it, run to the throne and pray about it and get back on that frequency and vibration where you belong. So your thoughts are not the facts. But if you keep dwelling on it, here's the second part of that very important statement. Your thoughts will become things. Now that's pretty deep. You got to watch what you wish for, because you just might get it. So while you're thinking about wishing for something negative, how about you turn that around and start thinking about something that's more positive? That's how you get on that frequency. You see, we manifest every day. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, we manifest every day. We set our intention, and then we just move forward and we do it. Now, so if you're facing some certain circumstances, instead of going to bed at night and thinking, well, he's going to break up with me, why don't you go to bed at night and think, what can I do to show value to my partner in this relationship? I am valuable. My partner is valuable. I will get an answer. All I have to do is wait. So here's the last most important thing. If we continue to keep on that train of, well, I've done this for 2 weeks and it hasn't worked, and I've done this now for a couple of days and it's driving me crazy because I haven't seen anything, and Zelda, you are just full of it because I know that this doesn't work. I'm here to tell you, my darlings, you're absolutely right, because that's what you're thinking. Henry Ford said, whether we think we can or we think we can't, you're right. So it's going to take an effort from you to really, really turn that frown upside down. as silly as it sounds. But this really, you really need to do this, my darlings. Because that's what it's all about. So just remember, let's go over this now the last time. You have your reticular activating system. Then you have that switch of intention. Then you have that vibration where you're getting on that frequency. Then you have that law of assumption where you just know that you have it. and you're all the while being grateful and thankful for everything that you have and see and do. Now you're starting to attract that law of attraction. Now you're starting to attract. And now the wonderful part of this is the manifestation part. And it will come to you, and you will have it. And in the meantime, I want you to know that while you're waiting, your intentions may change a little bit as you go forward, and that's okay. That happens. That's okay. That is okay. But I want you to know that your subconscious mind, your reticular activating system, and the little switch, well, they really don't know the difference between negative words and bad and positive words. So whatever you feed it, your computer on your head there is just going to spit out what it's fed. So you better be careful, right? You better be careful. So we've covered a lot of ground today. And now the next episode, we're going to start getting into some really deep things. But I think it's really important to talk about the correlation between the heart and the mind. Our hearts are so very important for so many reasons. And if you're heartbroken tonight, I'm sorry. But you can turn those memories into a positive reaction because you've learned a lesson. And I'm going to say one more thing, and then we're going to close. So many times people come to me, they say, my heart just needs closure. I need closure. My heart isn't going to make it. I can't stop thinking. I can't stop forgetting. I can't stop. I can't. It's because you have filled your heart memory with this intentional, because you don't want to forget, because you've loved so hard for so long, or maybe you haven't loved at all, and that's what you're feeling like you're lacking. The word closure and how that's used really means answers. You just need answers. Why didn't he love the heart that I gave him? Why didn't she fulfill this heart? Why? How? And sometimes it is not for us to ask. It is just for us to do. So work on that. Write now your intentions down. We're going to be covering a lot of these things. This is going to get a lot of fun. And I want you to drop me a comment. I want you to contact us at www.psychicssecrets.com. And you can see the previous episode about the reticular activating system at the Secrets Laws of Attraction. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today and letting me share this with you. You bring value to me. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. I love you. You be well. You be blessed. And you be brave, heart. And I'll see you in the next episode very, very soon. Happy manifesting. Bye for now.